Now, if you go to an HBCU like me, does that look bad on your resume? Do you not get the employment that you want because you went to an HBCU? Well, Jared, who went to Bethune-Cookman, is going to let you know. It's crazy because he went to a PWI, played football, then Bethune-Cookman and played football as he graduated. So he's going to kind of tell us about what people look at in his resume as he went through the hiring process. And now with the startup, does that help him going to an HBCU from a networking standpoint? Does it help him more going to a PWI? We don't know, but tune in to find out. Peace.
What's going on, y'all? Hope all is well. Welcome to our show, our podcast. Some call it a podcast. We call it a show. It's our culture, though. HBCU. Homecoming brings culture and unity, right? We all have homecomings. We all have fun. So we want to share the spotlight. And today, we got our homeboy who went to Bethune-Cookman. He ain't go to Tennessee State like us, man, but he has a great story about his time at Bethune-Cookman, BCU, in Daytona. You know what I'm saying? Down the street from, what's that Speedway? Daytona Speedway? Ain't that what it is?
Yeah, Daytona 500.
Yeah, so a little bit different compared to us. A little bit different. Ricky Bobby, right? If you're second in class. But Jared, tell us about yourself, man. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your background.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me, Mario T. Really appreciate it. From Jacksonville. Met Mario actually through working with him back in 2010. HBCU alumni, Bethune-Cookman University, class of 09. So actually, Bethune was actually my second school. I actually went to a school in South Carolina and played football, then transferred down to BCC at the time. Now they call it BCU to play football. But originally from Jacksonville and been here pretty much off and on my whole life.
Can we get back to the name change? Because I know it in BCC as well. What happened with BCU?
It had something to do with accreditation from what they told us, right? Okay. At the time, for us to get accredited again, a certification, you had to go to a university. At the time, it was a college back then. Could have been something with funding from the state. Who knows? It's still a private university. I'm not sure if we're still getting funding from the state. I don't think we are. But from what they told us, has something to do with accreditation.
Was it a lot of rebranding behind that?
It was. Oh, okay. From uniforms to merchandise, just from walking around and just saying BCC. I mean, people say, no, it's BCU now, BCU.
So is that like an old school thing though? If you say
it is old school.
Like it's like oh, you went here like
yeah. Well, you want a BCC, you BCU. I was at BCC. Yeah.
Okay, that's dope.
So how's that process? Y'all being private, so like y'all didn't get no funding from the state of Florida?
I do know it's more of, volunteers, local churches, fundraising. And just look at the facilities compared to FAMU or rival. They had great facilities from weight rooms to, dorms, cafeteria. You go to us, it's still like it's 1960s. Some dorms we had mold. We couldn't stay there when we first got there, right? We had to move to different dorms because they had to clear out the mold, all based on funding. If we had money, I don't think that would have been an issue. Well, money from the state, let's say that.
What's your alumni impact like? Celebrities giving back or any kind of city influence? Even the Daytona 500 having some kind of sponsorship.
Yeah. We did. As far as alumni giving back, Shaq's mother actually graduated from there.
Okay.
So I know he made a big donation on that front. I know we had a couple guys who played football, made donations. But as far as making a difference where, millions and millions of dollars, I haven't seen that. Not that I know. Especially not when I was there.
Who is y'all biggest alumni or y'all most famous alumni?
Probably it depends what age you are, right? But for everybody, it will probably be our founder. Our founder was I would say our biggest alumni. She founded the school, but she was very involved in politics. At the time, the Roosevelts were in office, so she was involved with them. So I would say that would be our person that will be a famous alumni.
Miss Bethune's story it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like even today, diversity wise, we don't have it as good as other races. It's life. It is what it is. But back then, kind of going what they went through in our community, man, like the racism that happened, the doors being shut in your face, man. Like it took a lot to do what she did and to start a school. Like, I mean, who does that? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's crazy, man. But how is the city? So I know it's Tallahassee. So is Tallahassee mixed, African American, Caucasian, more Caucasian? Is it really?
So Daytona, Daytona is a spring break city, right? Great weather, right? I mean, access 5 minutes from the beach to the campus. Wow. As far as dynamics, the diversity, I would say it's really 50-50, black and white. Of course, just like any city, you have your inner city, you have your well-off that lives in the coastal and on the beaches. There's really no crime. I wouldn't say too much crime. It's a small city. We're about 45 minutes out from Orlando, an hour away from Jacksonville. So
the school's not in the hood?
Well, I would say most every HBCU is in the hood, but what's your definition? What's your definition of the hood? All right, you can walk down the street, nobody's going to rob you, right? Nothing along those lines. Not that I experienced, right? But is it in the hood? Yeah.
So when I say hood, I mean an area that hasn't been gentrified.
Yeah, I would say yes to that question. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So. The average, I would say, the average home price, even to this day, is around $150,000. Yeah, around $150,000. Yeah. Yeah.
The reason why I asked that because Mario, I don't know if you paid attention to TSU surroundings. Yeah, I don't know if you call it the hood no more, bro. Like they building up around TSU, man. I don't know if you can say TSU in the hood no more because Nashville taking off. So thought I'd ask that. You say it's by the beach, but I'm like, most HBCUs are kind of in like those kind of areas, and I hate to kind of say that, but I mean it's kind of true. But I mean that don't necessarily mean that's what come out of there, though.
Correct.
To be kind of the circumstances that it be.
Yeah. Now, definitely, if we had our crystal ball when we was in school, man, and bought some property around the campus, man, we'd definitely be
man. Think about that. Think about how we'd have put our money together with a tailgate thing, and like everybody brought some money to the pot. We put some money down on something close to the campus. Man, that's crazy, man.
Even think about if our parents told us how to do that, right?
Yeah.
It's a generational thing, guys. It's our parents, and that's the difference between HBCUs. You look at other universities, especially bigger universities. They have parents who taught them and teach their kids, and it keeps going on and on and on.
Let me tell you what I've heard today. This Indian guy I work with. So this show is about culture, right? So their culture, he said his son wanted to go to Chapel Hill, but what he was going to do to beat the system and not pay out of state, he's in real estate. He's going to buy a home in the area, by the school, and then put it in his son's name. He's going to get all this crazy equity from the house. Then a year later, he can enroll in the school with that address. And now he don't have out-of-state tuition. But he also owns a home now. And when he moves out, when he graduates, it's his home. So now he rents it out. So he will forever have income. And if that property takes off, he can sell it and walk away with a crazy lump sum. Like,
think about that, right? Just think
exactly about like, imagine if we were in that situation at 20 years ago. It's like, but thinking about that situation too is like, does that have an impact on like the kid? Like we kind of had to get it out the mud. Like we're at an age now where we're kind of just now getting heavily involved in our careers and making the money we want to make. But it's like he's setting his kid up to make crazy money at 21.
Yeah.
And he don't even have an employer at this point. He just got property in his name. He could take the equity out and do whatever he wants to do with it. And it's just like, wow. I'm like, this is crazy, man. Like we really have to educate our kids and our siblings. And my nephew just enrolled at Tennessee State, and it's just like I'm telling him everything that he needs to know and he should be doing, because I'm
Right.
like, Nashville's not what it was when we were in school. So take advantage of that. And, don't just graduate and leave the city. Like, Nashville has a lot to offer at this point. So it's like, I'm just kind of giving him all these resources. I'm like, man, I got fraternity brothers there, best friends there. Like, you don't have to want for nothing. And, I'm telling him to do all these things and explore, as if, when we were in school, we were just trying to figure it out and just trying to pass and get through it, So it's just like you said, man, the generational cycle has to be broken, and we have to educate the young ones and hope that they stick to that and take that knowledge and, use it.
Yeah.
So I know you talked about your football days. So after you left your school in South Carolina, what made you pick HBCU and specifically Bethune-Cookman?
My father played with the head coach and his brother. At the time, it was a guy named Alvin Wyatt. Played with him in high school. So, I could have went to South Florida. I could have went to UCF. Decided to go to Cookman, just because I knew the coaches. Very different experience coming from, keep in mind, I went to an all-white high school, right? Played football, right? Then going to pretty much an all-white college in South Carolina, and coming to Bethune-Cookman, which was nothing but black folks. I mean, it was nothing but black folks, and they were hood. It was ghetto, right? It was hood, so it was different from me, right? I would go to class in gym shorts, t-shirts, and then ball cap, and I'm going to class. But these people are actually really getting dressed like they're going out to
HBCU.
Yeah. So that was different for me. That was different for me. So I had something to get used to on that front. Also, when it came to financial aid, at my old school, financial aid, it was there. First day, it was there. At Cookman, you had to wait. It was at times where people had to bring their, I'm going to get kicked out of my apartment, eviction, and say, hey, man, give me my money.
It's at the deadline.
Because I got to pay this money back, not you. Why are you holding my money?
Yeah.
Right? So that was something I had to get used to. But besides that, I learned, I met a lot of good friends there. A lot of lifelong friends now. So a lot of good friends that I met there. My dad's friend went coaching there at the time, and he said, "Hey man, just come down here. We'll take care of you, and we can kind of go and see what happens from there."
That's interesting. So talking about the classes, like, was you ever purged or was you ever kicked out of your classes? I mean, I'm pretty sure playing football, like they want to make sure you didn't get purged, but like,
So I wasn't purged again. I Cookman again. We're talking about HBCU in Florida, so they're going to make sure that everything's paid for before you even register. We're not going to even give you a chance to be purged or get out, right? So you have to, like, 2 days, 48 hours. If you're financial aid, it didn't have to be your fault, right? Hey, the money just didn't hit yet. It's going to hit in 24 hours. Doesn't matter. You have to re-register for class. You better hope it's not filled, right?
Exactly.
So, it wasn't nothing along those lines. They want to make sure they had the money before you can even register for classes.
Yeah.
So that was a different thing, because at my other school, man, they're fine. We'll get our money. Don't worry about it. Just go to class and get your education. HBCU, they want their money up front, especially for a private HBCU. I mean, keep in mind, we didn't have state funding, so they needed the money. With all due respect, right? I get it.
We've even seen, like, from when we graduated from TSU to now, like, how big state funding is. Like, a lot of the stuff that they got going on at TSU, a lot of the renovations, a lot of remodeling they done. It wasn't done when we was in school, but once you have state funding coming along, it definitely helps.
It's only 2 schools in DC that get $100 million plus a year, and it's a school called Gallaudet University. It's a school for heavily deaf people, and Howard University.
Yeah.
And I worked in finance, and it was actually pretty humbling when I saw every year, based on enrollment, Howard University was waiting on this $50 million check to hit, because if it didn't, they was in the red. And I'm like, is this how HBCUs operate? It's like, you got all these students paying tuition, but the thing is, students ain't paying tuition. And I was telling Mario last time, I said the president even said students would stop him on the yard and ask him certain questions about, the dorms and the buildings, but they got on Louis Vuitton backpacks and red bottom sneakers. He like, hold on, like, you talking about.
And that's the thing. See, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's the thing that was hard for me to understand, coming from a pretty much an all-white university to there. It's like, guys, we're in college. We're in college. You guys got, and keep in mind, I was going from, school with guys from Miami. At the time, they had Monte Carlos or 28s, lime green cars, Lamborghini doors. Hey, bro, you in college. Where you get this money from?
Hey, listen, we saw all that flip-flop paint job cars on 26s.
Yeah. Where you get this money from?
Suburban.
Yeah. But that refund check. I mean, imagine if I just would have saved my refund checks in 3 or 4 years I was there, and invest that money now. You're talking about $4,000-$5,000 here. Yeah. $20,000 20 years ago or whatever it was, 15 years ago, right? Unreal.
You could have bought you some property across the street from Bethune-Cookman.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's what I should have did with my refund checks. You had a big transition there as well. And I wanted to ask you some questions about, Mario was kind of saying, why'd you choose it? I mean, did playing time have anything to do with it? Like, you were like,
so
guaranteed a spot?
I wasn't guaranteed a spot. But keep in mind, I played defensive back. So at the time, we had a guy named Rasheed Mathis who got drafted by Jaguars, who was pretty good. We also got a guy named Nick Collins who played for Green Bay. In fact, he had an interception in the Super Bowl when they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, played for Green Bay. So I played defensive back. So I said, hey, if I go to Cookman, we know we're producing defensive backs, right? Go there, play man coverage. That was my thing, playing man coverage, right? I didn't like playing zone. Let me play man on man, press coverage. But that's a main reason why I went there. The difference, I would say, between HBCUs and major colleges, the only difference is the size of the linemen. But when I come to athletes, running backs, receivers, athletic ability, these boys can play.
Lamar Jackson times 25, right?
Yeah, I would say these boys can play. They might not have the size because they don't have the weight room program, they don't have the nutrition program, but you're talking about raw athletes, pure athletes, oh yeah, they're there. And that surprised me. That really surprised me. I'm thinking I'm going here, coming from D1 school, playing press coverage, a guy who's, 5'11", 175. You're not getting up the line on me, bro. I got you. Boy, did it move us on Jesus. Boys can run. These boys can
crazy.
Yeah, so breed those guys, man. They breed those guys. I watched this thing on ESPN, and the guys in Florida chase chickens through the mud.
Yeah. That's down in Belglade and Pahokee, all those.
Yeah, and I didn't know that was like a thing. And then when I started thinking about all the guys coming out of Florida playing in the NFL, like Chris Johnson's, he broke the records. CJ2K, all these guys out of Florida, it's like they were super fast guys, but super small, maybe 175 pounds with the equipment on.
With the equipment on.
Paying falling off of them,
let's look at AB. Yeah, AB, Chad Johnson. These boys not big, but they can run routes. They're quick on their feet. Yeah. And that's what it's all about, being quick on your feet. And me coming from bigger school, I'm what size, you ain't gonna get up the line, but these boys can run and move. Yeah, so that was very different for me, that experience.
I know you spent a little bit of time in the league. So what was the best wide receiver you ever went against?
I would say a guy named Mike Sims Walker. Mike Sims Walker came out of UCF. I actually played for the Jaguars.
Yeah. For
a while. I got drafted the 3rd round. And he had good size to him. He had pretty good size to him. I would say he would use his size, especially try to press man him in his routes. He was actually pretty good at that. So I would say Mike Sims Walker.
What are some things that you learned from an HBCU standpoint that kind of helps you now in your day-to-day life with the company that you're with?
Yeah, one thing I would say I learned from HBCU is that, don't be ashamed of who you are, right? Because, working in corporate America, keep in mind, I work in not only finance, but finance technology, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not too many people who look like me. So when I'm on Zoom calls all the time, especially when I first got into sales, right? I didn't even want to show my camera. I didn't want to give them the ability to say, hey, this is a black man on the phone. So, because, I didn't know how they'll take that, right? I didn't know how they'll take that, right? They want to trust me or what the case may be. So one thing I learned from HBC, be who you are. If they like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't.
Damn right.
It is what it is, man. Yep. You can't control that. Trust God to handle that. And you just do what you can do. We didn't have the resources like that. Our weight room wasn't that great, man. I mean, we doing warm-ups on the parking lot. I mean, I used to run track as well. We had to use Daytona Beach Mainland that Vince Carter actually went to. He actually built a new school out there. We had to use their track for track practice.
Y'all had to use a high school track?
Yeah, the same high school that Vince Carter went to. Actually, he has a statue outside of his high school.
Hey, that is a reverse 360 going.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we had to go to his high school and use his track.
Is his arm in the rim on that joint?
No, no.
No,
He should have done it. He paid all that money for that school. He should have done it.
Like, what's the culture like? Because I mean, we could talk about TSU culture, and like you said, the whole fashion sense, and like, is it sports heavy? Is it band heavy? Like, what's the culture like?
Yeah, great question. I would say it's more sports heavy. Just being from Florida, football is king down here, right?
Definitely.
It is music, right? The band as well. It's a funny. I had a funny story there because, again, coming from a bigger college, my parents would come to the game. And at other colleges, halftime, people go up, use the restroom, get something to eat.
No, sir, HBCU.
Yeah, my daddy got up to use the restroom. He said people look at him like they finna swing on him. He's trying to use the restroom during halftime.
That's time to go to the concession stand at HBCU game. Halftime.
Right. Yeah. So it was, I would say, football heavy, very sports oriented, and also the band is a major thing as well, especially during Florida Classic. During that whole time during football season, that's definitely a big thing there.
Can you appreciate what Deion is doing in Jackson State, considering he's changing everything? He's getting them a new stadium built. He's bringing exposure. They got like 5-6 uniforms, 8 helmets. Like, he's killing it for them. They're our rival, coincidentally, but I mean, they so big that he basically said we played them annually, Southern Heritage Classic, Memphis, Tennessee, Mutual Field. He don't want to play us no more because he's like, this ain't get my boys exposure they need. I need to go play these big D1 schools so these boys can play level up. And I mean, it's just like, wow, like, hats off to what he's doing, man. He's changing the landscape of HBCUs for sure. What you think about that?
He is. He said the same thing about, we're actually playing them in the Jaguar Stadium this year. And he said, the first thing he said, how many people at Cookman games? Why are we playing these? Why are we playing these people? And I respect that. You're Deion, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think nobody else could have done that because Deion Sanders he carries that weight.
Prime time, man.
It's prime time.
Yeah.
Nobody else could have done that, right? And I respect him for that. I just wish it can carry over to the other schools as well, right? Because he's getting his boys all that attention. Scouts are coming. Well, they're doing it for FAMU, TSU, right? Grambling State Southern, right? BCU. Are they doing it there? I don't think so.
And we got Eddie George as our coach.
Yeah.
We don't got the number one recruit coming to TSU.
Correct.
Yeah, it's like Eddie George. I mean, this dude, I think he won.
Didn't he win a Heisman?
Yeah.
Don't respect Ohio State like that, man. Diddy, he ain't won the Heisman, man. Come on now. It's in Nashville too, so I know. Jackson State is in like a small town.
Yeah.
But recruits are going there. Why are they going there? Because of Deion.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Deion, I don't think those recruits will go there.
Nah,
I really don't think so.
They getting NIL money now, man. It was like perfect. Yeah. It almost like he knew this was down the pike because it's like he took the job and like, all right, I just got to coach for like 1 or 2 years. This NIL money gonna come. So now the boys, you can go to Alabama, you can go to Jackson State. You're gonna get the bag. This doesn't matter what you want to, what coach you want to be a part of. Nick Saban won several championships, but Deion, he gonna get you a Porsche dealership, NIL, and you're around your people, and you're in the culture. So it's like, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that all day. But now he leveling up with the situation. Like Saban was mad. Saban made the comment. I know he paid that boy $1 million, and Deion like, man, we ain't paying our guys. Like you can all people, boys. Saban jealous, man. The HBCU's coming. They coming.
Yeah.
You got to think, man, like you a star football player at an HBCU. Man, boy, you living up.
Yeah, it's unreal. It's unreal.
Smirk on your face.
It's a different ball game because you're around your people and you can pick whoever you want because they all go into the games, especially those big games, those rivalry games. Oh man, don't show out.
And then we're gonna protect our people, so he ain't got those stars ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
we're gonna treat them like that versus they going to Alabama. It's like, I mean, you ain't bigger than the quarterback. They're gonna be like, so it's like five of y'all. But it's like two star players on campus. It's like, bro, like we got you. The hood got you. You ain't got to worry about nothing. You ain't got to pay for nothing. You don't have no car. You drive everybody else's car.
The culture from Bethune-Cookman, how do you use that today in business with what you got going on?
At Cookman, every Thursday, I had a business class. Every Thursday, we had to dress up. Dress up in suit and tie. It wasn't no gym shorts. It wasn't no, whatever you want to wear. No, you had to be business professional, not business casual. That really taught you, I don't care what atmosphere you're in, no matter if they tell you it's business casual, as a Black man, you come in a business professional, because at the end of the day, especially in this world, you're not the same. Don't give them any reason to tell you you're not professional. Yeah. Right? That's one thing I learned about Cookman, is that know who you are, but once you go in that atmosphere, you gotta come correct. They won't give you a second chance.
I've been in several interviews, man, and I go in there and I do the most, right? And I'm already into fashion. I've had several people, HR people, like, "Oh, you don't got dressed like that. It's just, the culture here is different." Yeah. I'm like, no. Like, I ain't coming here like, y'all, I'm gonna do that for. Right. I don't stand out. I gotta go over and beyond to show you how serious I am about this situation. Right. And you gonna respect me like that. Right. Because if I come here like y'all now, we like this.
We're this.
And y'all already don't look at me like this, so it's already like this. But if I come in here dressed like this, then now y'all like, oh, like he's serious. Like,
he's serious about this.
Yeah.
You work for a very, 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 very large financial company. Now you have not a startup, but a company that was a startup. Like, what's the difference? Right. So a person that's kind of in business, they work for a big company, they're thinking about joining a startup, or a company that was a startup. Like, I would say cons, but what are some pros?
Yeah, I would say a startup, you have more flexibility to do what you want to do and make a change, right? In a big company, I'm sorry to say, sometimes you're just a number, right? Mm-hmm. You may see a change, but for you to get that change implemented with your team, you really have to have people behind you pushing that. In a startup, I can come to Mario, we work as a startup. Hey, I think we can make this change. We get more business in. Let's do it. All right, man, let's take a look at it. Let's do what we need to do, right? Startup, you have more flexibility around that. Also, you can get bought out. You get stock options in a startup, you get bought out. You can become an instant millionaire. Yeah, and that's one thing about our culture that I know is working at, my company now, is that, these guys who's been there since 2006, 2007, they said, Jared, my parents told me to go work for a startup. You can live at home. You don't got to get out my house. Work for a startup, make your money, get bought out. Now you're instant millionaire, right? You don't have to worry about paying bills, or you're still in my house, or you don't got to worry about all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I second that. I worked for a startup, so hearing you say that, it's like exactly spot on, man. And we were hoping that we were going to get bought out. We had a couple of joint ventures come in, but we thought we were going to get bought out, and we had crazy amount of stock, and I was like, man, this is going to set me out. So I'm going to just try to sit here and be still. But just like you said, the flexibility, it was no PTO. You could do what you want.
Do what you want.
Right. The CFO come to your desk and he talking to you like a dude on the street. It ain't hello, sir. He cussing, his face red. He going crazy, and it's just like, whoa, bro. But also, it's like, you know what? We use it to this other company. Let me implement this. This is what we doing going forward, because this worked at this company. And they like, all right, we're gonna do that. Let's roll with it, because there's really nothing in place. And that's what I liked about it, because it was so much exposure. Like, you just email the CEO, like, hey, I mean, no professionalism with it. It's like, hey, so this is the number, cut and dry, not professional. And coming from a big company, I wasn't used to that culture and atmosphere. So it was a big transition for me, but I just followed suit how everybody else was moving, because I didn't want to make it weird. But it definitely was an experience. And a guy told me years ago, working in a lot of big companies, he said, man, if you want that exposure to senior management, go work at a startup, get that experience, and it'll take you places. And it definitely did. Probably all the jobs I had after that was due to that startup, because of the exposure, and I had building departments and being a part of decisions that were being made and starting at the ground floor. It definitely was a cool experience. I second.
Yeah, it's a lot of passion in startups as well. Like you mentioned, T, people are working for a common cause. Nobody just coming here. Granted, it's all about money as well, but you get to a bigger corporation, it's all, man, I'm just here. When is 5 o'clock hitting? I'm out of here, man.
That's it.
And startups, people are trying to come to a common goal and make this thing work. Because if we make this thing work, we get bought out. We could.
Man, that's totally the goal. Have to talk every day. Like, hey, so-and-so want to give us some money. It's like, man, they want to just buy us out.
Yeah. So if a person graduating from Bethune-Cookman now, would you recommend that they go to a large firm to start their career, or you think they should start off with a startup?
With the company, a bigger company, you're guaranteed, it was a guarantee, but that every 2 weeks I'm going to get paid, right? with a startup, that may not be the case, right? We don't get funding, that may not be the case. And depending on your situation, you may need that money, right? I may need that money to pay bills because I'm living by myself, whatever the case may be. And that's one thing I noticed by working with other races at my company is that their parents said, hey, live at home. There's no stress. If you need something from us, let us know. Everybody don't have that situation, especially people coming from HBCUs. Most of the time, maybe their parents went to college for a semester or two. They're the first people to actually graduate. So, once they get, out, their first thing, their parents say, oh, man, go get you a job. You're making money now. Come help me out.
18 years old.
Yeah, get out. One thing about a culture, we're always kicking our kids out. For what? For what?
Don't figure it out like I did, right?
Yeah. Help them out. That's how I built my house, right? My parents said, look, man, football didn't work out. It's not the end of the world, right? Get on your feet, get you a good job, and you can stay here as long as you're doing what you need to do, then you're fine. Boom. Did that, paid off my house. Half the price of my house. That was good to go.
Now, why do you think our community as a whole, like, it's a stigma? Like, same thing, like when I graduated from TSU, I stayed at the house for about a year and a half as I kind of started my practice. And it helped me out dramatically, just money in my pocket. I was focused. But, in our community, why don't you think more people do that?
I think it's our culture, right? It's like, we're so worried about what people think, right? Oh, you're living at home with your parents. You don't got no money, man. People would rather be broke, barely making it just to say I got something on my own.
Oh my
For
goodness. What? Say that again.
For what? Just to say you got it? What does that mean? You just say you brought somebody over to the house and it's your place and you're renting. At that, you're renting. It's not your own house. You're renting.
Yeah.
Right. It's our culture that we have to show off. Right. It's all about look at me, look what I'm doing. Right. It's not about staying in your lane and buying your time until you get on your feet. It's all about now. I need it now, right? And that's where we're at. Just look at the music. We're the only culture that would go to a club, spend $800 on alcohol, right? That you can get from the store for $30 or $40 and do that every week. Not one time, we'll do it every other week. Just to show people, look at me. Stand on couches, look at me.
Bro, I be popping bottles too, bro.
Yeah, I'm guilty as charged.
Yeah. It's a business write-off though, man, because usually when I go out, I'm with a client, you know what I'm saying? So it's a business. That's why you want to have your own business.
There you go.
You can write off some of it, but yeah, that's true. And that's our culture. Like, and we get ingrained early. So at TSU, we had, student center Wednesday. One Wednesday, like you wear your best outfit. It's just, it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We keep it clean. But I guess when you're corporate America, though, like you learn those values, you learn how to dress, you ball on the budget. So when it's time for that interview, you make yourself look good, respectable, so you get that job.
Yeah, because you see people I work with who are multi-millionaires. You look at them, look what they drive. You couldn't tell that. You couldn't tell that at all, right? But you got our culture. Got a guy I work with. He driving with a Porsche, one of the Porsche SUVs, right? I know he don't got it. I know I make more than that. I just know it. But he got to have it. It looks good now. Don't get me wrong. It looks damn good.
Look good. You feel good.
Yeah. There you go. You fake it till you make it. I get it. But just to say you have it. Especially he's married. I'm like, who are you showing out for? Your wife at home.
What would be probably one of your biggest regrets, and what would be one thing if you could change it, what would that be?
I wouldn't say a regret, because I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason, and what's meant for you, what God got planned for you, can't nobody change that. He'll get you where he needs you to be. But with that being said, one thing I wish I would have done is back in high school, I had an opportunity to go to a camp at Vanderbilt, and they wanted me so bad. And at the time, I guess something happened where I kind of brushed them off. And the guy told me, look, man, you come here, we want you. We just want to see you in person, see how you move. I got a scholarship for you. Wow. I didn't take him serious.
Wow.
And I know if I would have got a degree from Vanderbilt, the Harvard of the South, playing football, I would play with Jay Cutler, all those guys. I know that things would have been different just from the degree standpoint. I can go anywhere, just write my ticket. A black man who went to Vanderbilt, this is what I want. I need you to pay. So I wish I would have done that. But with that being said, me going to HBCU, especially Cookman, it really humbled me. It really showed me that, look here, man, everybody don't have the same opportunities like you had. Because keep in mind, I was at a big D1 college, then moved down. You gotta really be thankful for what you have.
Yeah.
Right? Be thankful for what you have. And just thank God, the Lord, I know you're making a way for me. And granted, I may not have everything I have now, but I have everything that I need. Right? Because I could be right. We didn't have everything, but we had everything we need. Right? Make sure we got to the games. Make sure we enjoyed each other, company. Right? The parties, all that stuff. We was in Daytona, so we can ride 5 minutes to the beach. Just little stuff like that. Just be thankful for stuff like that.
Out of all the HBCUs you heard of or you've been to from homecoming standpoint, who has the best homecoming?
I gotta say, fam. I gotta say, fam. Is this maybe because I'm biased because I'm from Florida, and just the vibe, and FAMU has a powerful alumni. I mean, they have a pretty powerful alumni. So you see a lot of famous people and people who never even went to FAMU, right? But you see a lot of rap stars coming there, from people from Atlanta, then people coming up from Miami, then people up from New York as well. People really respect FAMU. So being from Florida and going there, even as a person who just got out of college, well, actually just got out of high school and experiencing that, it was nice. It was nice.
So then, if you had your own business and you was able to sponsor a homecoming out of all the HBCUs, which one would it be?
I gotta be my home. It gotta be Cookman. It gotta be Cookman. You gotta respect. You gotta
go back to the crib.
You got to.
Okay.
You gotta take what you learn from other homecomings and try to bring it there, right? And get the alumni more involved. Because I'm gonna tell you, at FAMU, I mean, you see Mario, you're in Jacksonville. How many FAMU tags you just see on the road?
Man, all over the place.
All over the place, man. All over the place. So I definitely want that for my school. Yep.
Jared, if I didn't get dead or alive, who would they be and why?
First, I would do MLK, right? I really want to know his experience during that time frame and what really pushed him to take a lead, in the civil rights movement. And then I'll follow that back up with Malcolm X, right? Tell me about more of your approach of by any means necessary and what made you really, of course, we can really read about it and watch movies about it, and how did you guys come together, especially toward the end of Malcolm X's life, right? To work together as a common goal, right? Because keep in mind, at one point, Malcolm X said, man, you're up there letting white folks do whatever you want to, right? You need to get your guns and fight back, not just take it on the chin, right?
Yeah.
So I would love to speak to those two. I would love to have dinner with of course, Warren Buffett, man. He's, from what I see, he's a very humble guy, right? A very knowledgeable guy. And just pick his brain about just finance and where he sees the economy and where things are going. Barack Obama, right?
Okay.
Love to hear his story about being the first black president and his name being Barack Hussein Obama, right?
Man, we talk about that a lot. They got rid of that real quick.
Yeah. So, I really believe that, the Lord has something to do with that, because who would have thought, back in 1960, we would have a black president named Barack Hussein Obama.
I was standing on my couch. I popped a bottle to that one. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was standing on my couch in the house like, hey, you did something.
Yeah. As far as a sports figure, I would love to talk to Deion. Deion, consider I played DB, especially what he's doing at HBCUs. I would want to know, first, if Florida State called you, would you leave? That's my first question. If Florida State called you, you're alumni.
I'm nervous about that one. Everybody nervous about it.
Would you leave? I'm really curious about that, right? And what made you say, hey, let me take a chance and really change the culture when it comes to sports at HBCU, right? I would want to know what made you want to do that, because you didn't have to do it. You were working with an NFL network. You could have got a coaching job, maybe not a head coaching job, but a coaching job pretty much anywhere in the nation if you wanted to. Use your resources. But why HBCU? right? Was it because you didn't get the head coaching job somewhere that you wanted to, or just because it was truly about making a difference? Which I think the latter is the reason.
Would you say Deion best back all time?
Yeah, I would say so. This for pure athlete,
Yeah.
I would say you got to go with Deion. Technician wise, I'm going with Darrell Revis.
Silent.
Oh yeah, as a technician, he wasn't an athlete like Deion, but you talking about just technique and can read the receiver and run the receiver's route, playing off man. I mean, I just watched film on this guy. Keep in mind, we came out the same year. That guy was a technician.
Well, now it's been great, man. I know Jared, you're definitely humble, but definitely, I definitely know your background, know what you got going on with your company, man. You're doing some awesome things. We ain't gonna throw all your business out, man, but definitely, we want to salute. With all the success that you got going on, man, you definitely paving the way. Describe what fintech is, man. Like, people know about finance, they know about technology, but fintech is just a sector of business within itself that I don't think a lot of people know about, and that people can probably make money if they get into the fintech space. So describe what fintech is.
Yeah, fintech is just finance technology. So you think of fintech, think of mint.com, think of you open your Bank of America app, you can move money from one place to the other, right? It's just taking the finance portion of it and doing the technology, right, to make money move, over the internet, right? Technology could be from placing trades on your app through Robinhood. Again, it could be moving money from one bank, from Bank of America to Charles Schwab, right? But it can go down different routes, and there's more of the technology field in finance.
Where do you see the future of finances? Like, do you think it's going to be more technology? You think technology is going to take it over? You think it's going to scale back because of all the privacy issues?
I think so. Keep in mind, baby boomers are retiring. Now it's millennials. We're always on our phone, right? Especially, I told you, Mario, when it comes to advisors, it's going to be a point where advisors, you're not going to have too many face-to-face meetings, right? They're going to like, hey, man, how's my portfolio doing? We could do a Zoom meeting, but I still want access to place trades myself on my phone because I want to buy some of the meme stocks, right? I think that's really going to take off, especially as baby boomers pass away and the millennials start to really get some more money in their pockets. Yeah,
that's cool.
Sure.
Yeah. But now, Jared, man, we definitely gonna have you on again, man. Appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate all you guys for joining in. Again, they call it a podcast. It's a show. We're definitely spotlighting HBCUs, man. We got my homeboy T with his OG, man. Check him out, man. Y'all see his all his socials all through the episode, man. Our homeboy Jared, again, thank you for your time. Our culture, HBCU, homecoming brings culture and unity. We talked about culture. We talked about unity, man. So y'all can DM us. Y'all can hit us up, man. Comment. Let us know what y'all like. If y'all want somebody to be showcased, you know what I'm saying? Let us know. We're definitely here to help, man. But for Jared and for T, appreciate all y'all support, man. Peace.